Do you want me to take the downstairs?
Yeah, thank you.
I'll stay with her.
Like stuff. Whenever you're feeling yeah. Well, good morning, everyone. Excuse me. Thank you for coming out this morning. Please stand with us, and we're going to start out with our opener, I Am As God Created Me. As God created me in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me in the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am. I am as God created me. In the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me. In the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me. In the light, in the love, in the glory. Good morning. Nice to be with you all. Everyone enjoying the budding of spring this weekend? Yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely. Thank you guys for your great music. Thank you. My name is Mark, and welcome to our service today. We'd like to begin our service with a moment of prayer. So if that's comfortable for you, to join me in closing your eyes and taking a deep breath. Use that breath to bring your attention into this now moment, releasing all the thought activity you've already had today, releasing all that's going to follow after we're together today. Use your breath to just be here right now, because it is in that sacred, holy moment here where we access the love of God, the light of God, the glory of God. All that God is only in the living moment. The good news is that's where you are. Your mind goes in lots of different places, but you, your soul, your spirit always resides in the living now moment. And from this moment, I bless our gathering, give thanks for the opportunity to once again come together in community, in enjoying, deepening in our spiritual practice and expanding our consciousness. Inside of this, we are blessed and guided. And so it is. Amen. And Diana is our host today.
Good morning, everybody. Delighted to be here with everyone this morning, and also the online streamers. We're just tickled pink you're here today. And thank you, Brian and Jeff and Anna, for getting us started with our music. We just love that energy they bring. Unity on the Lakeshore is a non-denominational spiritual community anchored in self-acceptance. If you're here for the first time, just know that wherever you are and whoever you are on your spiritual journey, you're welcome here. At this time, it's always a tradition to light the Christ candle, and I've asked Rose to come up and do so. And as she lights this Christ candle, please recite with me. We light the Christ candle, remembering the Christ in us. And also our mission statement. We embrace all people and honor all paths to God. We create a sacred space to raise the awareness and consciousness of the one Spirit in us all. We anchor ourselves in a permanent prayer, forgiveness, generous sharing, and living community in service to our spiritual awakening. And finally, the affirmation of faith. There is only one presence and one power, as me and as the universe, the God, the good, omnipotent. And we get to sing another song. Please join in.
Pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your joy in me, pour your joy into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your joy in me, pour your joy into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your love in me, pour your love into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your love in me, pour your love into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit.
Thank you, everybody. Our reading today is healing. God's healing power is moving through me. I am open and receptive to God's healing power within me and within my dear ones. I trust with absolute faith that God is greater than any worldly condition. I cannot limit God. I listen to the still and small voice within and feel guided along my healing journey. If fear and worry gets the better of me, I start to feel anxious. I call forth the healing power of the indwelling Christ. I spiritually surrender my concerns. When I pray for my dear ones, I do not focus on their condition. Rather, I see them as a divine being they are, whole, prosperous, and spiritually perfect. As I pray, I perceive God's healing presence moving through me and my beloved. This presence is the health beyond the illness, the abundance beyond the insufficiency, and the life beyond death. This is the truth of my life. Isaiah 58:8. Your healing shall spring up quickly. At this time, I welcome Mark back up for meditation.
Thank you, Diana. Let us say this together. There is a silence into which the world cannot intrude. There is ancient peace in my heart I have not lost. There is a sense of holiness in me. The thought of fear has never touched. I go there now. I love that line. There's a holiness in you, and this thought of fear never touches it. So let's go to that holiness thought. We do this by closing our eyes. We close our eyes to take away the external world, which is honestly just the past. It's just reflecting the past to you. So as we close our eyes to the world out there, we open up to the inner self. Using that breath once again to become more relaxed and focused. Bring your attention to the mind, which I just typically locate in the head where the brain is. People argue that doesn't matter. Give it a place of focus and stay to the mind. Peace, be still. Breathe that in. And imagine that direction kind of trickles down like a shower over, telling the body, peace, be still. Going over the emotions, peace, be still. Mind, body, emotions, peace, stillness. From this openness, we follow a light, and the light guides us to the holy self. Just have some fun with it. If the light grabs you, takes you flying, or it simply just remains there holding space for you. The light guides you to your holiness, to the holy self that you are. We'll be in the stillness with this for a few moments. Just keep breathing, focusing on the light. If you feel the destination of the holy self or have some image of it, imagine that light of the holy self just exploding and taking everything into itself. Light, expansive, forever free. And encoded in this light is an abundance of supply, resource, life. All that you need is inherent in this light, given to you before you dreamed yourself separate and remaining with you forever, up to this moment and beyond into the galaxies. There is within you abundance. You are wired for it. This is what lives in the sacred holy self. So we also activate this day. Take a nice breath. Allow a gentle smile to come to your face. And take your time opening your eyes as we enjoy another song by our beautiful musicians.
I see trees of green, roses too. I see them bloom for me I do, and I think to myself, What a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white. Bright blessed day, dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty, are also on the faces. People going by, I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? Saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, oh, stands wrong. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Thank you, guys. That was wonderful. Yeah. All right. Now that we've laid the foundation of a wonderful world, I'd like to take you to the dark ages. Kind of not kidding about that, but for a good reason. We are in our little series here in April, just welcoming spring and looking at what I'm calling the 4 pillars of spiritual living. 4 pillars of spiritual living. Last week, we looked at the quality of worthiness. We can't live in our spirit and continue to demean ourselves, to diminish ourselves. You can't say, I am the light of spirit and I'm unworthy to receive you. So it's an important first step to just purify that the old ideas that playing small and keeping your light down and don't don't let others feel embarrassed or something like that. All the ways that we were conditioned to play small. These are what are in the way of our spiritual living. And it's a culture. It's a society that sort of bites at each other if the appearance of bragging or singing your own song gets too big. We've all experienced someone kind of, hey, pull that back. That's too much. You're too much. That's an example of we take that in, and what it says to us is I lack value. I'm not worthy to be all of who I am. So we purify that out of the way, which we did last week. We'll call that complete. And we stand in our value. From our value, we can move into the second pillar, which is the consciousness of abundance. It really is more and more, in my understanding, required for spiritual living. But for those of us who are around my age, or and above, in the 80s, abundance consciousness, even into the 90s, it really got kind of, in my experience, maybe not yours, but it kind of got hijacked with consumerism. It was get the big house, get the great car. Suddenly there was and it kind of wasn't bad in a way, because it was like the consciousness kind of got lifted up, and suddenly a mass of people, not enough, I'll acknowledge, but was what it was, were suddenly able to be having and experiencing, and life got better. But the way that life got better was in the expression of things, bigger things, better things. That's where I grew up. And I remember burned in my head, this is such a silly thing, but this is real. Our neighbors all had pools. And so we were going to get a pool. I don't know why 5 houses in a row all need their own pool as I think back to this. But I remember my father saying to my mother, our pool's got to be bigger. So we had the biggest pool in the lineup. And I remember that moment. And I part of me followed my dad's pride. Oh, we're cool, I guess. We have the biggest pool. But it also points to what was in back of all of this abundant expression was this thing of I've got to, the more I have, the more abundant I am. I don't call that wrong because I think we had to move through that, but now there's a whole new way to be in this consciousness, which isn't about the things we have. But before I go into that, I do want to, because this is an important piece, I think. I want to read this. This is from a little tiny book. I think it's the 40-Day Abundance book. Perhaps some of you know it's a 40-day program, and I pulled it off my shelf. And it says, in the 2nd century, the war against knowledge and self-reliance began. In AD 180, Irenaeus, Bishop of Lyons, attacked independent thinking and all teaching related to the oneness of God, believing that a spiritual consciousness and a personal union with God would undermine the authority of the priest. He directed his wrath upon Gnosticism. Gnosticism is knowledge, practice of Christianity, where they acquired awakening through knowledge. So he decided that if all these people come into their light and power, their power is going to be taken away. So he did the efforts to squelch the people. First, he used his 5 books against heresies, followed by a list of acceptable writings, chosen only those words which supported his dogma. The shift in mind direction came from within to without. Goes on to say, when the emperor Theodosius, something like that, made Christianity the sole and official religion of the state in 395, the Institute assumed complete control over individual minds, and humanity entered the 1,000-year period referred to as the Dark Ages. Now, we weren't there. Well, you might have been if you had a past life there. I shouldn't deny you that option. But the us now was not at this time. But even though in the 1800s a wave of awakening did occur, we still sit, I think, still in a large overlay, if you will, of, at least I recall that, the priests and those holy people have the answers, and I don't. They have the connection, and I don't. This is what I'm pointing to. And the reason and I know we don't teach that here, and I know we are far past believing that, but I'm always looking for the pockets that still are hanging out backwards. Always looking to bring all of us into the new light that we're saying yes to. So as we return to taking ownership of this authority of the light that you have, because it does say, ask and it is given, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be open. That means you have authority to activate the light, to use the light for love, for good. You have the authority to do this. But if you believe that you are lacking something, anything really, mindset, knowledge, talent, skills, if you think you're lacking in any way to meet what it is you desire, you want, or what the world is asking of you, any single little percentage of emptiness in that pocket that says, I don't have enough, brings us down, and then we are out of control. Not out of control, we are no longer in control of this light. This is what happened to a people, to humanity. They became so disempowered, impoverished, under the control of others. And it really, because I was reading this week, the memories were coming back. Again, this seems so long ago. But I grew up with a grandmother who was very religious, very Catholic. And I'll give you an example. I may have told some of you this before. My brother and I were 7 and 8. We were there over the summer with her. She made us do the rosary every night at 7 o'clock, 7 and 8 years old. One night we started giggling because, oh, by the way, we're boys that are 7 and 8 years old. And we got in trouble. We got sent to the room and my mom got called, all this craziness because we weren't doing she was in so much fear. She was under the control and she lived in some way a dedicated spiritual life, but also a very fearful, I am not worthy life. And that impacted the generation of abundance in my family system. It caused that side of my family to experience a lot of lack and a lot of poverty. And you know what they did with that? They made that holy. They made being impoverished a dedication, a sacrifice. And it even got to the point where God would expect you to do this. I'm pointing to all of this backstory in hopes that you're kind of locating part of you in there too. Where did your agreement to less come in? And even if you have a lot, we're all looking for those places of where do I not experience an abundance? Where in my life am I still walking around a little concerned I don't have enough for this or for that or for a future or for whatever? Any sense of lack, we have made agreements with that. Because the truth is, and this is the quote I want to say, the limitations you have are the ones you have imposed upon yourself. That's not fun to hear. The limitations you have are the ones you imposed upon yourself. There's actually great positivity in that. If you get past well, who do you think you are? If you just get past that, there's actually great wisdom inside of that. Because if you take ownership of this agreement, I'm not saying any of us consciously made it. You made this. Remember, as children, we're absorbing belief. So even if as a child, your energy of yes was what agreed with some of these ideas, that's a choosing. That's what is called choosing. But again, not blame or shame. The good news of that is when you take ownership for it, you can change it. If it's someone else's fault, then you're always going to be at the effect. I say this often in 100 different ways. We must always pay high attention to where we're blaming someone else, holding someone else accountable. Well, and I do it all the time in my language to tell story, but not to remain there, talking about our upbringing, talking about what the parents believed. I point to those things to help us locate it here, not to find who's at fault so that we can all have a persecution party. That's not what I'm talking about. You are responsible and you have the ability to see this and to transform it. When I was thinking through the Bible on this, I didn't even find one particular story, although one may rise up. But what was interesting is looking at it through the mindset of what story would line up with an abundance talk. It was like, oh, Jesus was kind of an abundance teacher. Jesus wasn't having how to buy real estate workshops. and there's nothing listed like that in the Bible. But his teaching was always pointing to a sufficiency of supply that allows you to be free. Even if you've got nothing in your hands, if you don't need for anything, you have nothing, all good. You remain in this consciousness. In his freedom, it appears, he'd walk around, he'd go from here to there, he'd tell stories. He was a gypsy, a wanderer. And it was light. His load was light. And there's never a passage that I've found where at the end of the day, Jesus is going, oh man, now we're in a new town, who's going to feed us here? There was never a concern. This is the pillar that I want us to get to. That's what abundance is. If I were to give a new definition of abundance, no concern. That's actually pretty good. I didn't even write that one down. Abundance is moving through life with no concern for where the next thing will come from. Wouldn't it be nice? It does make us pause and go, what would I do? What would I say? Where would I be? Where would I go if I really was anchored in this universe, this light, which we pointed to in the meditation, has enough for me. It has more than enough for me. Here's the deal on this, you guys. This is what we're always being asked to do here. Deprogram ourselves so we can remember and reprogram ourselves to truth. That's kind of the bridge that we keep walking on. The deprogramming from all the conditioning of lack and limitation, all your experiences. Every time you sat down to pay a bill or figure something out or be in a relationship, wherever there wasn't enough, when you found yourself there, it was scary. You had an agreement. These little pockets are what we heal through our practices. And when imagine all lack, pockets, and agreements eliminated in your past, now we're here in that holy instant that I talked about. The holy instant is accessible when no past issues are clouding over it. This is the work we do here. So we remember our truth, we purify, and we establish ourselves in a higher identity. Jesus walked through all the experiences in that higher identity. And one of the best examples, we all know the story, and I love referencing it. It's the feeding of the 5,000, where Jesus is on the mountain and just preaching and doing his thing, and the people are coming from everywhere because he's got some magical something about him that's undeniable. And obviously the culture of that time was to feed the people who come, because the people are running up to Jesus going, come on, we don't have enough to feed them. We don't have enough to take care of them. Not a moment of concern is expressed in that story. Just instantly, the first thing he did, which is the first pillar inside of the abundance pillar, and really the only one you need to hang your hat on, he lifted his eyes up and he gave thanks. That is divine direction. That is teaching you how the law works, literally. Hey, Patrick, could you bring me the water? The first thing he does is lift up the eyes. What that represents for us, which is so important, thank you. Super dry up here. What that points to is taking your attention off the problem. That's all. When it says lift up your eyes, it's simply saying you can't solve the problem at the level of the problem. You got to stop looking at it and staring at it and multiplying it with your fear. That's hard, isn't it? It's got like sometimes those problems that just have this magnetic pull to them. You're just like, woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. Well, you probably don't say that, but your version of that. and the direction is always typically the opposite. This teaching, very simple, lift up thine eyes. Don't stare at the problem and increase it and then argue about it and then fight for it and then convince yourself how screwed you are. That's not what you're being asked to do. You're being asked, look up. Hey, look up. That's what it's doing, right? Stop it. Look up. Take your eyes off the problem. Now, look up also holds in it, go to that holy whole self. Go to the abundant consciousness. Go there. Look up to from where the riches pour in, which is not of this world. There's our breakdown. We are so conditioned to look at the world and go, yeah, I'm abundant. But that's always got a layer of fear around it, because a storm can swoop in and take the richest man's lot away. So all of us, every one of us, If we are figuring out our abundance in the world of form, we're already trapped in lack. Look up, get out of there. Stop it. Look to the consciousness. And here is the law. From consciousness, from knowing, from belief, flows experience. So really all it's saying is bring yourself to the source where you can actually make a change. This is our spiritual work. This is our spiritual practice. We do not go to the world for solution first. We go to consciousness. We go to prayer. We go to connection. And from that all-sufficiency, we then move back into the world. And we let that flow through us as the solution, which is why Jesus would say, I of myself do nothing. He's just like, nope, I get connected to the source. I open up my consciousness, it streams through, and suddenly there's enough loaves and fishes to feed 5,000, with more than enough at the end as they're loading up the baskets with the leftovers. This is how the story goes. But the second step, look up. And he gave thanks. He gave thanks. I can't tell myself this enough. I can't tell myself this enough. If I would look, I'll be just candid as can be. Everything that comes my way, if I could just move to thank you, life. If I could train myself with us to be the first response, thank you, life. Who cares what it is? Well, we do, but let's set that aside for a moment. Anything and everything. Thank you, life. Thank you, life. Thank you, life. This is for me. Thank you, life. I'm abundant. I can take care of this. Thank you, life. The problem appeared to be too big yesterday, but today the all-sufficiency gets to be bigger and more activated. Thank you, life. This mindset, more than a mindset, it's a vibration. Gratitude is a vibration of being, which is why we say the words to activate the energy of it. I'm in a flow of gratitude. I get pulled over by a cop. Thank you, life, for speeding. That's what I do anyway. I don't know what you do. That happens. Thank you, life. Thank you, life. That bill does come in. The taxes are due tomorrow. Thank you, life. Thank you, life, because I'm not of this world. Because I'm done letting the looking down decide my mindset. And we're not making something, get this. We're not making something true become untrue so that we can then have a different idea. We're not looking at lack and going, well, this is the reality. Now I got to unravel it and make it untrue. No, it's always untrue. It's simply an outpicturing of a thought, and the thought's not true. So there's no magic required. Your mind says, oh, that's a big problem. But the spirit doesn't have any awareness of that. There is no big and small. It's just, oh, here's your solution. Oh, here's your solution. Now, there are times when the solution will call you to change. And that's where we get, not that we don't want the solution. We often don't want to become who it's telling us to be, which is ultimately for our good. But let's face it, sometimes solutions in my world require discipline. They require a change in me, and my little lazy part comes up, which really says, and I'm so outing all these parts of me today, which really says, give me the old God with the magic wand and just fix this, but don't change me. Anyone still have a little part? Could someone else take care of this and just I get the goods, but I don't want to change it. That's what it points to. Spiritual law doesn't do that. We're simply saying, look at the lie, put your attention upon the truth. Now there's nothing for you a lie doesn't really need you to do something because it's not real, right? Like you don't need to clean an unreal house. I don't know where that stupid analogy came from, but you get the point. If something's not there, you don't have to do it. And this isn't real. What's true? What's true? What's true? The abundance of God, the abundance of life. I'm so grateful. Now, some gratitude people love to go make your list. Make your list. But I'm a little leery on that one. Don't do it if you love it, by all means. I'm saying why I'm leery on it is because it brings me back to things. And you know what I mean? Like, it's just where my mind goes. I'm grateful for my car. I'm grateful for my home. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my dogs. All of these things. So it takes me back into the world of form, which puts me back on shaky ground. I think just focusing on I am thankful. I am in the flow of grace. Like, just what if we put our period there? I am thankful for what is here. I am thankful. I am thankful. I think that's enough to just ring the bell. We don't have to figure out a list of things, because I've done these lists many times, and then suddenly my mind is working to figure something out, which I don't think is, like, let's just go to the place we want, which is a feeling of expansiveness. Gratitude will expand your energy and your consciousness for what? Not a magical something, a bike, a car, a house, for a shift in consciousness, for a changing of your mind, for a remembering that there is enough in the vibration of the universe, which you are, and that's your real bank account. There's always, always, always enough. And this is not a little thing. I'm not here to invite us to really amp up our abundance consciousness this week so that we can have extra dinners and fun times over the summer. I really don't want to make this about the world of form. I want to make this necessary for us to be who we're here to be in this world today. We must be free of the lie of lack, and we must walk in a sufficiency that is light, that doesn't need to have a truckload of things behind us to prove it. All consciousness, to the one that's walking down the street not knowing where their next lunch will come from, to the person driving their car home loaded with groceries, and everyone in between. This is all consciousness. To walk in light, knowing I'm taken care of. This makes you available for your most beautiful purpose, which is a spiritual call. It truly is. Take a breath on this. There's another thought I have on abundance. It came in my head, and I think I lost it. Shoot, I'm sure it was the one that would have fixed all of this. This week, here's our homework for this week, and this is a real one. This is a real one. Just watch your language. Never say, I can't afford it. I don't have. Like, just see if you pay. What I want you to pay attention to is how your language is formulating the familiarity with the limitation and the lack. Even just a simple, silly change, like if some option comes to you and the first thought says, I don't have enough money for that. The second thought is, I'm not choosing that. I'm not going to choose that. Silly as that sounds, that's a shift. I'm not choosing that. I can't afford that. Do you get the difference in vibration? So this one, now your attention's going to be going, well, this is the one, but that's because you're more familiar with it. But even if you introduce the option, I'm not going to choose that. You've just given yourself a higher choice. And so we got to practice. We got to build some energy into the higher choice to where you could find yourself never saying, I can't afford that. You'll always say, I'm not choosing that. It's so silly, but sometimes those small ones can have a big impact. Look for wherever else, taking your mind off money, wherever else lack may be living. There's not enough love for me. There's not enough help for me. I don't get enough help. I don't get enough attention. Wherever it lands, be noticing this week. And when it hits you, see if you can just look at that and say, that's not true. You can just hold in your back pocket, I am abundant. I am an abundant creation of the universe. That's not true. You're taking your definition of self in an abundant, as an abundant being, off of what you have into what you are. Isn't that lovely? That's what we do here at Unity, over and over and over and over. Let's take a moment of prayer, because that feels like I was talking for an hour. Open your hands. Breathe in. So I speak this prayer to activate the consciousness of abundance, for no purpose to begin with getting. Never does that law or that consciousness get activated when we're trying to get something. So we release that. We let go of all getting. We let go of all taking just for a moment. We judge it not, actually we forgive. Every time in our past up to this moment, when we were focused on getting something, when we're focused on taking something, when we actually took things in relationships, in the world of form, any taking, any wanting to get, breathe in and exhale out that. It is forgiven. It is done. It does not run you anymore because there's nothing to get. There's nothing to take. The abundance of universe is inside of you, waiting to flow through you. So we release getting and we move to giving, extending, expressing, sharing. This is how you come alive in the consciousness of abundance. The more you extend, the brighter you become. The more you share, the more you have. And of course, we can always place this upon sharing thoughts of love, sharing ideas, sharing kindness, sharing a smile. We don't need to focus on things. We focus on thought, love, energy. Holy Spirit, help us to abundantly anchor ourselves in this consciousness and heal all that which limits us and awaken us to the infinite supply that is always awaiting our command, waiting our acceptance. Please bring us a healing, for we have been raised in a consciousness of lack. For even if those of us who had a lot as we grew up, there was still lack around it. We ask that all of it be healed and that we be restored. Take a breath with me. Oh, say yes to this. Yes. And so it is. Amen. Amen. All right. All right. So thank you for that. And I swear to God, all that is true. I did not plan this. I did not plan to do an abundance talk the day that one of our treasurers was going to come up and share with you. I really didn't. But that's what's next, folks. So let's welcome up Jack, who is on our board.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Can you hear me okay? Okay. So I'm Jack Wells, and Millie Roberts and I are the co-treasurers on the church board. We wanted to give you just a brief financial update. And if you have any questions, it's best to see Millie or I afterwards. And online, if you have any questions, just email the church at unitylakeshore@gmail.com. So for the 8 months ended March 2024, we are happy to report that we are back in the black. So we have a positive surplus of $3,700, and this compares with last year's comparable eight-month period. We had a loss of $3,400. So it's a $7,100 improvement year over year. And similarly, our cash reserves have increased some to currently about 47,000 from 35,000 last year at this time. So about a $12,000 increase actually, that's from when we last spoke in early December. So we've had some lower expenses, but a key reason for the operating improvement is because of your love offerings. We really stepped up the last few months, especially in December. And we just want to give a big thank you from the whole board to you for helping. Because your love offerings really have made a big difference in helping us maintain our financial footing. So one of the goals of the board is to have a balanced budget. We're working on that. And we'll keep you updated throughout the rest of the year. Thank you.
That was an abundance report. So good. Before we move into our offering today, I also want to bring forward more and more. May 18th, Saturday night, we are going to be hosting Kim Char and Shelly. They're a wonderful musical duo. Kim Char was here, I think, a year ago about. And they're going to be doing a concert here. We're going to have a silent auction. It really is our goal because the summer months do tend to get lean in a different way. So this is going to tee us up to really meet the board's goal, which is we will end our year in, what do you call it? The black? Yeah. Right. I never like to use colors. I'm like, so yeah, I get nervous because I don't think that's cool. But anyway, what was my point? So this event, we really, really, really want you to come. As thank you, Carrie, who pointed out last week. If you don't have the resources for the ticket, don't make that. Don't worry about that. You're abundant. You're welcome here. This is your homecoming. Some of you have the abundance where you could buy an extra ticket and help someone. That's wonderful. Thank you. They're only $25 a ticket. So, and I'm doing something myself, and I challenge anyone else to do this if this feels fun and doable for you, even in a small way that I'm doing it. I'm reaching out to my friends and family, and I'm going to make them buy a ticket. They can't come. They live all over the country. But I'm like, so what? They can make a contribution to this wonderful consciousness. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to do my part and really sell these tickets. Many of them will, most of them won't even possibly be here, but they'll be happy to contribute. So that might be something you consider doing with friends or family, even just a small handful of people. Say, hey, my spiritual community is having this little fundraiser. It's only $25 a ticket. I know you live in Colorado, but would you buy one to just help us out? You'll be surprised how many people are like, sure, I'd love to. It could be. Well, we could check on that too. That's not a bad idea. What? Not an option. So they just get to give. We'll invite them to the Sunday talks. Anyway, so that's a way for us to grow this event. So please consider helping us do that. And of course, bring your friends and family. Those who do live around here. This is a wonderful opportunity to introduce them because Kim Char is funny and spiritual, and she will make people leave going, that was a church? And that's what we want. That's what makes me happy. So put on your calendar for yourself and help us bring people to this event. 7 p.m. 7 p.m. And we'll have food. We'll have a silent auction. So it's going to be a wonderful evening. Yes.
Is it $25 prior to the event online? Do we have that established and started?
That's what we're working on. We're going to get that. We're going to make sure to get that linked up very, very quickly. Honestly, what I'm doing, I'll do whatever. I'll be like, throw it in my Venmo. I'll just sort of collect it and pass it through. That, I don't think the IRS is going to be coming after me for a couple $25 things, but who knows? So yeah, it's a little sloppy in the onset right now, but we'll get that cleaned up now, and we'll let you know next week how to better do that. Thank you. Yes.
If we might have donations for the final auction, is there a way for us to get them?
Yes. Can you talk to Rose right in front of you? Thank you. Yeah. If anyone has something, now this is a lovely silent auction. If you have something that you think would be great, please. Is that okay if I pass them on to you? Cool. All right. Enough info on that. We look forward to having a really, really fun evening and presenting ourselves to our community in a really fun way. Please be a part of that. That's my ask. Let's move into our giving. I invite you to take your gift that we're giving. And Jim and Millie, you guys available? As we say together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am thankful. And we are thankful. Thank you so much. And Diana will share some other ways for you to contribute.
Thank you, Reverend Mark. As Mark had mentioned, the ushers are passing the basket that gives you an opportunity to give here now. The other option is that you can text to give. You send the word give to 616-236-5205. That number is 616-236-5205. If it is your first time for giving this way, you'll receive a link with instructions. And then after that, you will be able to text a dollar amount and just hit send. You can also give through our website at unitylakeshore.org/donations. For those watching, the link is in the chat. And then, of course, you can always mail a check to Unity on the Lakeshore, Douglas 848, Douglas, Michigan 49406. And now we're ready for another song from Anna, Brian, and Jeff.
I send my love over the mountain. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my joy over the mountain. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my peace over the mountain. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountain. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. And it returns to me.
Thank you very much. Thank you. If you are in need of some support, there are a few ways you can receive that. First is to email us at unitylakeshore@gmail.com. You can also phone the office at 269-857-8226. And then, of course, there's always the silent Unity silent prayer line that is 24/7. That number is 816-969-2000. If you haven't liked this on Facebook, please do so. This is the way that you can share all about the great things going on here and engage with others. You can find us at facebook.com/Unity Lakeshore. And Mark already talked about the event, so please consider doing that and promoting it as much as you can. Are there any first-time guests here? Anybody? Well, welcome back. A lot of smiling faces. I love that. All right, and then there's any other announcements from the community by any chance?
Just the prayer class starts Wednesday night. If anyone wants info, please see me, and I'm happy to help you with that.
The prayer class on Wednesday nights, and that's physically here or?
No, it's online.
It's online.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. And then also the bracelets. We still have bracelets? Okay, excellent. And the idea with the bracelets is that if you buy one or you buy two, and one is kept for reserves for any guests that we have, correct?
No, you buy one.
Oh, you buy one, and then the cost of that, it pays for two. Got it. Thank you very much. All right, and also if you do have any suggestions or any topics that you would like to hear from Reverend Mark or from the board, there is a suggestion box that you can put that in, and we always invite and encourage your input. At this time, we are going to sing our closing song, Blessed Away.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen. Blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen.
Together we say, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, everybody. Good features. Good idea. Oh, wait a minute, that was me.
So much for that humility. I'm working. Here comes on this one, we still gotta get locked in. I know. I know.
May I make a suggestion that we could open this up a little bit more? I think that I just need to try to think of other songs. Yeah, it's okay.
Yes. This makes you want.
Versus
Blessed always be that before.